I am Mike Swigman with CapstanAG Systems. I am on location in Greensburg, Indiana at Egg Pro. It is a customer of ours that's been running PinPoint systems for quite a few years now. They just purchased this New Holland sprayer, and we are getting ready to install the PinPoint 3 envelope system onto their sprayer today. Today is more or less, I'm going to go over how to install it on a boom. This particular boom will be the example we're going to be using, but these preferences and stuff can be used for any type of boom that you're going to be doing. So we'll go over how to install the VCMs, how to install a coil, kind of go over some extensions, and then also the chassis connections and such as far as connecting to the sprayer itself. All right, so we're going to install the gateway hub, or our main brain box for the boom itself, or for the whole system. That's what this guy right here is. We have several connections on our the right side of this for VCMs. This will be from the extension going out to our VCMs, our valve control modules. This side over here is for boom section valves, if we need to control boom section valves. And this here in the center is for various connections for ISO bus to plug into your flow meter, your pressure sensor and such, and your servo valve. So on this particular machine, this is a 2024 New Holland sprayer. We actually have a specific bracket that we'll use these 4 holes to mount our hub to. And then you'll locate this mounting point for this accumulator up here on the boom, and we'll remove the bolts for that accumulator and put this in behind it. And then our hub will mount right up here on the front of this boom on this transom. If you have any questions, we do include a installation kit of where it needs to be mounted to with every install. Or if you would happen to lose this, you can go to our website and look up this particular machine that you're installing on to be able to get the install instructions. So this is our coil. This particular coil here is made for a T-jet nozzle body, which that's what this is here on this particular boom. We also make them for Wilger and for A-Reg and for A-Reg high flows. This particular coil is a 12-watt coil, or a high flow coil. It can be easily identified by the blue heat shrink that's around the harness. Really quick before we install it, if you ever need to service this, you take this clip out, and then our plastic nut will come apart. You can then use this same clip and stick it into the holes that's located on our centerpiece, and you can pop it out and you have access to the plunger. This plunger here is our only wearable item that we have within the boom. Put it back together. You just pop that back on, stick this in, and stick your clip in. Now to install it onto the boom, you will remove your drip cap that was already onto the nozzle body. You will then take your coil, you will thread it back onto the spot right here where the drip cap was. It's important for this installation that you want to turn this plastic nut and hold this coil. Do not allow it to spin. We are squishing the O-ring to create that seal on this nozzle body. So we are ready to install the chassis part of this system. It's how we're going to communicate from the Miller sprayer. So we have an adapter to be able to plug into the chassis harness that's already on the Miller sprayer. If you locate it, the original rate controller was mounted back here to the back of the cab. You can see right here, here's the connections. We will take those connections and plug them into right here to be able to adapt into the chassis harness itself. Then coming out of this module, we have our own pigtail, which will plug into our chassis harness that we made. We'll plug directly into here. Then you'll secure this harness up along the frame rail, across the transom, and up to our hub. And I'll go show you how to plug in there. So now that we got the chassis harness ran up across the transom, and we'll come in, we'll secure it here after we get it installed completely. But you'll find we have our ISO connection right here, which will plug into the hub, a servo, our pressure and our flow meter, and these here are individual boom section controls. So on our hub here, our very top connection will be our servo one. This is for our servo. The next one down is our flow meter and pressure sensor. So it'll plug into here. The next one down, the gray one, is for our ISO communication. This is where we'll bring the ISO bus into our hub and also key switch power. That'll plug into there. This one here is our boom switch presses. If you were actually for different applications, you might use this to bring in 12 volts to let us know when a boom valve is turned on. Then coming down this left side, we have our, to control our boom valves, it'll be boom valve 1 and boom valve 9 is on this one. This one would be 2 and 10, 3 and 11, 4 and 12, 5 and 13, 6 and 14, 7 and 15, 8 and 16 is what this bottom one will be. Also, these two, or this one right here, boom number 7, you can also configure boom 15 to run a recirculation valve, which is also what we'll be doing on this New Holland sprayer to make the recirculation work. And then on our hub, we have our power and ground lugs, which will run back to the battery. And then we will be filling these in with our VCM connections as we start bringing the rest of the boom into the hub. VCM is considered a valve control module. If you look, it can be easily identified by, we have two different ones. This one here would be what we call a 9-channel. This one here is a 15-channel. You can see the harness sizes. You can also look at the part number to get that identification. But what it is that these smaller one here, the smaller harness is a 9-channel. That means that they have 9 of these drops and they can hook up to 9 coils on your boom. This one here is a 15-channel, which means it has 15 drops. The other important thing to remember is that these drops, there's several different VCMs. We have some VCMs that have drops that have 20-inch spacing between them, or a 15-inch spacing or 10-inch spacing, depending upon how far your nozzle bodies are away from the boom. The next thing you see is that we have this Y here that is connecting these two VCMs together. This one port on this Y is going to go back to one port on our hub, and this allows you to connect two VCMs together to be able to minimize the number of harnesses that you have coming back to your hub for communication. So now we're going to install the extension that's going to go from our valve control modules back to our gateway hub. So we'll start out by, what I like to do is I'll find my connection here for my VCM. I'll plug my extension into it. Now you can just as simple start to walk and get it unraveled, but you'll leave these curly cues into the harness and you can be susceptible to kinks. So what I like to do is that I will go ahead and just spin this and kind of unreel the harness that's been packaged up on our packaging. And once I get this unreeled, then we will walk it down through and install it in the boom. So now that we got this harness unrolled, we're going to go ahead and start running it through the boom. What I try to do is I will try to follow the path that I can the best through the boom for the harness to be most protected. So try to keep it inside of your truss and your gussets. And when you get to a full joint, you're going to want to follow your hoses and stuff. And we will cut these zip ties off to be able to go inside this protective covering. And then we will continue to follow this harness all the way up through and plug it into the gateway hub. We got our harness ran through the boom. We will secure it with zip ties like how every other sprayer is held together, I think. But we'll take our boom 1, which will be labeled for you, and we will plug it into the gateway hub here into its correct port for VCM number 1. Then you're going to repeat that same process for the other boom sections that you'll be utilizing on this hub and how you get them all completed.